Hi, Shiraz Balolia again. This is part 2 of the bench build video showing you how I built this bench. If you haven't seen part 1, please go back and watch that because we're going to start where we left off. Alrighty, we're at the stage where we're going to start working on the legs. This piece has been trimmed out, so it's at its final dimension. And basically, it's going to go. Now that would be too simple, wouldn't it? Because these big blocks would make great legs, but it looks blah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna resaw these puppies and sandwich a nice piece of curly maple in between. And laminate them, shape them to size, and the overall dimension will be 2 inches. And then the same thing will go in that piece that goes in the middle there at the bottom as a support piece. So I have the maple already in the oven right here. So come on over, let's look at this. Okay, so I built this jig many years ago when I was building acoustic and electric guitars. And with acoustic guitars, you got 1/8 of an inch and you got a book match piece that you glue together. Well, how do you hold it together? As soon as you push it together, it's gonna buckle. So I made this up where I can put my pieces in and then wedge it down so it remains flat. So I've got the 2 maple pieces that we're gonna use for the legs already glued up. And what I do is I put a wax paper underneath so glue doesn't stick to here, and wax paper on top so it doesn't stick to that. So then we'll take this to the white belt sander or planer and plane it down. This is about 1 inch thick right now. I'm gonna need to be at 1/2 inch, so we got plenty of room to mess around. So that's the one piece, and as you can see the figure on that, look at the figure, it's just killer figure, and that's gonna make the nice center piece on those legs. So let's resaw those big daddies. So we're just under 1 inch on this. It might taper a little bit as we resaw it, I don't know. But our final dimension is gonna be 3/4 of an inch. So we got lots of room to play. Those things are almost 3 inches thick. I should be able to get at least 2 solid slices out of it and some good remnant. So let's take the first cut and see where we're at. This bandsaw is great. It's got a 19.5 inch resaw capacity. I've got a carbide tipped blade on it. It's a good blade. What the heck is that? See that little white trim in the front looks good. And then when I attach this down there, I'll have nice big white, white maple, curly maple dots that cover it up and dots on the side. So the whole thing will trim pretty good. But that's kind of what it's going to look like. Of course, I'm going to take this whole thing once it's epoxied together. I'm going to use some epoxy and use a vacuum jig to press it together. That's it for today. Now then, I am using West System epoxy. There's all kinds of epoxies on the market. You can use whatever you want. But I like this because it's great for boaters and all the wood canoes and everything that boaters use, and it's waterproof. It lasts forever almost. And a lot of gun stock, laminated gun stocks are made for that, so when they're out in the rain, they're not affected at all. So I like it. We're going to use that. The goal is to do one at a time. I'll kind of move this aside for now. The way this works is 1 pump and 1 pump. It's equal parts, and then we'll mix it. And we're going to start from the back. So let's get to it. Now, one thing you'll notice is I I sanded the corners off, because when the bag comes down and squishes on this, you don't want the corners popping a hole in the bag. That's pretty thick, but that's the main reason they give you a repair kit. Be very careful. I'm going to double check once I throw this top piece on, because I don't want anything to shift. It's quite heavy and it might move those pieces, and we don't want that, because once it moves, that's where it's going to live forever. Okay. Everything looks good. Now I'm going to turn the vacuum on. What it's going to do is evenly press down on it. Better than any clamp out there. So we're gonna leave this alone. It's on auto cycle, so it'll cycle as it needs it. Everything looks really good. See, looks pretty nice, doesn't it? We will come back maybe even tomorrow, and then tomorrow it's ready to go. So these came out quite well. You know, I let them sit overnight, and I ran it over the table, so just cleaned it up. All this stuff on the side will get trimmed out when it goes on the CNC router. Okay, so we're here at my home at the CNC machine, and we're going to cut out the shape for the leg. Now I've sticky taped everything, and I'm just going to put it on the backer board here. I've got the thing lined up here, so it's on the line, so it's square. There. I've got home over here. Now the program knows where home is and where the top of the piece is, and it's going to make 8 passes, and it'll cut through here just a few thousand at the end, and after the 8th pass there'll be a finishing pass. So now what I've done is I've removed the front brush part so we can see how the cut goes. So obviously sawdust is going to escape there, and I'm going to vacuum it out as we go along. It's just a little messy, but it looks good. Alright, so that's the shape of the leg. I've already got one done, and so that's what it's going to look like finished. These two guys will be like that, and that curved piece that you saw me laminate the other day was going to go like this in between to follow the shape of the whole bench. So we will take these back to the shop and see if we can put it together without any screw-ups. Alrighty, so we've got the legs all cut out. You saw that on the CNC. We're back at the shop here, and this puppy is the one we bent on that bending machine, and you can see how nicely it turned out. I've trimmed it. This was quite a trick, trimming it to the right angle so that it matches these angles. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So that's what it's going to look like, except this will be up here. So it'll be extremely strong and good for generations. My goal is to lag these in with big lags through here. So we're going to go take this leg to the milling machine and do the Forstner bit cutout with a 1-inch, and then a through hole for the bolt, and then when it's all assembled, we'll plug this in. These guys here were the leftover from the CNC machine when we cut out the legs. So I'm thinking, why not do something with that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these little guys in here so we don't waste these pieces. I'm going to glue it together and make a couple of cutting boards out of it. So resaw it, and so if nothing is wasted, and we need some small cutting boards at home, so that's what we'll have. So let's take these guys to the milling machine next and do some fancy drilling. Okay, so I've got a pointer here in my chuck just so that I can zero out where I want to start my hole here. And I've got the X and Y at 0, 0. And then I'm going to move it over 3 inches and drill this. So I'll be depending on my digital readout for all the measurements, and I don't have to do anything manually. So I've got it zeroed out. This is where it's going to be, and I'm going to replace this bit now. Oh, don't do that. Cut. Okay, so I'm going to replace this bit now with a Forstner bit. You can see that it saves the point with having a towel there because I knew it was going to drop off. So my goal is to start with the Forstner bit, cut a flat hole, and this Forstner bit will leave a point in there, and so I'm going to switch out and do a through hole in that, and I won't have to change any setting. Just want to make sure that everything at 0, remains at 0 on the X and the Y axis. So let's go back to 0 on the X axis. X again is this way, Y is back and forth. Okay, we're gonna cut into this. I've got the speed set pretty low because Forstner bits require a lower speed. Otherwise you're gonna burn the wood. We'll go 3 inches this way. I'm going to switch this bit out now to a drill bit, and we're going to go right through and see what happens. Oh, it's so nice having this mill. So the leg bolts will go in and be countersunk in the inside, and then I'll put the plugs over them when they're completely tightened. Alrighty, so we've assembled the legs. These things have been bolted. It's all looking good. It's nice and flush here. And the next thing I did was I marked the bottom of this and drilled some pilot holes so that I knew where to come out on the other end. And then marked all my holes for the countersink, which I'm going to use a 1 inch Forstner bit, just so that they're all in line, so you don't have one hole over here and one over there and one over there. So these are all lined up, so they'll look good. They're even from the end. Same thing with this. I've drilled 5 of the 6 holes, and I'm going to go ahead and drill the last one now. I've got a little square made out for the 1 inch, so I know where exactly the Forstner bit needs to be. And once I've got it sitting where I want it to be, I'll clamp this jig down. So now this jig is not going to move. And I've got a stop set here. It knows where to stop. Alrighty, it's done. Get this guy out. Turn it over. And you can see I had my squares marked here. You know, I've got these pilot holes, but it's not been drilled through. So the goal is to lay this around with the sticky tape so it doesn't move. Then I'm going to swing it around, take a big clamp and clamp it together, drill my holes, and do the same thing over there. First, let's get it into position. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to flip this over and remove the double-sided sticky tapes cover. Okay, now I'm going to flip it back. It's just temporary. It's not. Let's make sure it's where it needs to be. It's. Boy, that tape is good. It's looking excellent here. Looking good there. Just a hair. Use a clamp and clamp this. Okay, now I'm going to drill in. First I need to measure how deep I need to go. So these are drill stops. They come in different dimensions. Make sure that's going to be the right depth. Yep, perfect. So I'm going to go in and drill a hole this way, and I need to be a little bit taller for this. Alrighty, we've got one hole. That's solid. It's a two-man job to pick this puppy up. Looks very nice. It's coming together very nice. Everything will be rounded. I'll have white maple plugs on all sides. The one other thing I'm going to do is, because you know you can have this depending on what surface you're going to be putting this bench on. I'm going to be adding some feet levelers. So these will go in here. I'll drill holes in here, and then there'll be leveling feet that'll stick out. So you'll be able to adjust it to any floor surface. And that's it for today. Okay, so when I was disassembling this thing, I dropped the corner of this onto the back. This is the under part, and put a little dent in it. So today I'm going to show you guys how to remove the dent in wood. And basically we're going to do some ironing. I have this rag that's completely wet, and I'm going to put it on top of this. And then I'm going to iron it, and the steam, the hot steam, is going to loosen the fibers, and it's going to expand, and hopefully we'll get the dent to rise up and fill it. If it doesn't, my name is mud. So let's do it. So you hold it down for about 30 seconds, and I've done it before. It's good on softwood. It's kind of difficult on hardwoods because it's so dense. This is walnut. It's soft. So, ooh, it's looking good. Alrighty. Done. Turned out good. Just as expected. So that's how you remove dings in wood. Okay, so I'm going to cut plugs that are going to go in here out of the same maple that I used as the lines in between this maple right here. And this is a 1-inch hole, so I'm going to cut it to about 1 inch and 5/1000 over, so that I can pound it in, and then it'll never come out. You can see that it's fairly tight right now. I've cut one already. I've got the DRO set to where I want it to be, and I'm still going to measure it, but I'm going to cut another one for you guys, and so you can see how it works. And there we are, the final product. Custom plug that'll go into those holes. Okay, so I've got a 1/2 inch round over a bit on this, on the shaper with the router bit attachment. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the legs on there. I'll do the unusual parts like the top and the curved one with a handheld router. But this is easy to do over here, so let's go ahead and do that. And this here is on a magnetic base, so I can slide it around as I need it. Oh, that looks so good. That round over is perfect. So we've rounded the corners on the center support piece and the legs. And what I've gone ahead and done is I've drilled the holes in the bottom where these guys will go in, and then we will put the adjusting feet on them. And so we'll be able to adjust for uneven floors. Now, I went ahead and did something else as well, which is I cut a little slot in here, a little pocket in here, and that's gonna have my specially made brass plate that goes in here. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and use my router to route the edge on this. You wanna make sure that your router doesn't rock. So I'm gonna have more pressure on this hand down here. And I'm going to move left to right. So here we go. It's looking good. Alrighty, that's rounded over, matches this round over here, and just double check, make sure nothing got left out. Looking good. So this guy is done. Next stop is sanding station. Okay, so we're at the flap sander here. That's 240 and this is 400. So what that does, it's great for corners, and then I'll take it to the sanding station and use my electric sander to sand this up to 600 grit. So let's get started. I'm going to start with 150 and then go to 240, 320, 400, 500, and then finally 600. Now, one thing to note is that when you are sanding your finished piece, you need to get everything out. I mean, any small line you see, when you put a finish on it, it's going to look like hell. So you need to make sure. And so I'm going to go ahead and finish it to 600. And then if I see any final tiny lines, I'll hand sand them out. So that was just the first grit. There's going to be 5 more. So it's a very laborious process, and it's going to take several hours to do all the pieces. So I'll get them all sanded down and we'll assemble the thing, and then we'll be on to the final step of finishing. So here we are. We've sanded it down up to 600 grit. All of it has been sanded up to 600 grit. Now I am going to have to resand around these. I have gone ahead and plugged the sides. I've screwed the sides in and plugged them, trimmed these flush. I've done these 5 here, they're dry, and I'm going to show you how I trim them, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how I bolted this in. So basically I take some glue, you know, it's just to act as a thread locker almost. And then I screw it in. And that's all there is to it. It's not going to go anywhere. It's there for life. And I'm going to go ahead and plug these. This is the last plug. And basically I've aligned, you look at look at the side so that all the grain of it's curly maple. So I don't want one row going like this and one row going like that. So look at it, I've got all the curly going this way. So we'll go ahead and put some glue in here, brush it. I'm gonna wipe it off, of course. Just wipe off the outside. Make sure the grain's going the right way. And these are about 3 or 4 thousandths. That's all there is to it. So now I'm going to show you how I make these flush. A lot of people will use flush trim saw. I've done that. I don't like it because sometimes things go wrong and there's teeth marks on your finish here. So what I've got is a trim router, and I've got a flush trim bit at the on there, and I've bought a plate for it on the internet, and then cut a slot in it so I can get in. The reason for this is if you kind of drop it in, you're limited to the circle, and I tried that, it didn't work. It just cut a part of this plug, and so this will let you get in and just slide in, and then you can, I usually do the edges first so it's nice, and then go ahead and finish. So let's go ahead and fire this up. It's a little messy, but now the way I set this, I didn't just bring it down to the surface and set it, because otherwise you'll see marks on the surface with that. So you take a small tiny piece of Scotch tape, and the Scotch tape is about 2/1000ths of an inch. So you stick it on your surface. It can be any surface, it doesn't have to be this surface. Stick it on there and then drop your bit down to it, and so it is completely flush or within 1 or 2/1000ths of the surface which you will send out. So we'll do that next one. Now I could do this right now, but I'll wait about half an hour to do this. So until the next oiling session, see you later. Today is the big day for oiling. So before we oil, however, I'm going to run naphtha over it because there's some fine sawdust. We don't want to put oil on until we have removed that. And you can see, there's quite a bit of fine dust in that. So we're going to remove all that, and then we're going to flood it with some teak oil first. Alrighty, so the one thing you need to be aware of is when you're finishing, you need to use 100% cotton rags. Anything else will not finish the way you want it to. So we're gonna go with, oh man, look at that incredible figure. Yeah, I'm gonna just tilt this up so that to the camera and you can see that figure. Whoa, it's gonna be so nice. Wait till we finish it with several coats of oil, sand that oil in, then put some wax at the end and buff it out. Ooh, it's gonna look something you find in a gallery. And you can tell it's already drying up out here. You can see the dry patches. It's just soaking it in. It loves that oil. Alrighty, we'll let this sit for a little bit and then wipe off any excess and come back in a day or two and start the final process with a special mix. Okay, so this has the original coat of CFin oil and and 4 coats of this special mix. It's a 3-part mix. Unfortunately, I cannot give you the details of this mix because I was sworn to secrecy many years ago with a famous woodworker from New York that knows I sell machinery. I would not be competing against him. So I have this secret sauce, but I've changed my processes a little bit about how I apply it, so I can tell you that. It's that first coat of CFin oil. Let it soak in. After 2 hours, come and wipe it off. And then, remember, I had sanded it down to 600 grit, so it was really smooth. And then you start with 400 grit, so you're actually scratching the surface a little bit with a wet and dry 400 with this mix. And sand the oil in at 400 grit, and then come back the next day. Do it with 600, come back the next day. Switch to 4-aught wool, steel wool, and you can apply as many coats as you want. I'm on my 3rd coat now with the steel wool, so we've got 5 coats of oil total when I'm done today. Now I'm going to stop there, and tomorrow I'm going to wax it, put some paste wax, wipe it off, and buff it, and the project will be done. So let's go ahead and start with this this wonderful steel wool. You basically just are rubbing it in, and it is oiling it and polishing it at the same time. I mean, it's when you run your hand over this, you'll be able to tell that this is a fine piece of furniture. And that's what this project was about. Alrighty, we're all done. Nicely waxed and finished. Got 5 coats of oil, 6 total if you count the CFin initial flood. And put a coat of wax on it, just some paste wax, and then buffed it off, and it's there for a lifetime now. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and I think it turned out quite nice and interesting and different project, something different than what we've done in the past. And you are not allowed to jump on this.